play Pittsburgh a little tight. Shannon, explain to Skip how the Steelers are going to win by more than 13.5 points. And Skip, you said this thing is already changing, right?
Yep.
Skip believe also in UFOs and a whole lot of other things. The Loch Ness Monster.
What do you think?
What Skip believes in is not necessarily.
If the Loch Ness Monster played for the Dallas Cowboys, I would believe in, is it a he or she? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Skip, think about this. Starting with the drive that after Dak hurt his ankle, the Cowboys have had 36 possessions. Guess how many touchdowns they've scored? They scored 1 touchdown in 36 possessions.
And that was at the end of a blowout at the hands of the Arizona Cardinals.
The Cowboys are starting a quarterback that hasn't started, I don't know what, maybe high school. And you expect them to go out there and beat the Steelers.
Hey, he was Central Michigan's finest, man.
So let me get this right.
He started for 4 years for Central Michigan.
You had Dak got hurt, he's done. You started with Andy Dalton.
Yep.
He got concussed, then got COVID, he's out. You started with,
Don't remind me.
You had your guy bad, Ben Anthony DiNucci.
Yeah.
He was so bad, they said, nah, we done with you. So now you down to Cooper Rush and Gary Gilbert. So you down to your 4th or your 5th string guy. And you believe that is going to be enough to go out there and cover this. That will absolutely not happen, Skip. Maybe if you had Ty Smith, maybe if you had Lyle Collins, Skip, and you started one of these guys, Skip, I said, you know what? They can protect him. They can handle Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt on the edge. They can Zach Martin at guard position. I was like, you know what, Skip? You might be on to something. But with none of those guys, they're going to feast. They're going, ooh, and I can't wait. I can't wait because I really want you guys to go and get put out your misery. But this division is so bad, even when you lose on Sunday, you still going to only be like 2 games back. And that's pathetic. The Cowboys' offensive line, Skip, is not going to be able to hold up against the Steelers' defensive line, and therein lies your problem. You can't run. I know you're going to try to establish Zeke, but Mike Tomlin has made it abundantly clear. Our focus is on Zeke. We ain't worried about, that's a blank, that's a nameless phase, that's just helmets. I ain't worried about who playing quarterback. They might, as a matter of fact, they might have Troy playing quarterback. It don't matter. We going after Zeke, and then we'll deal with Cooper Rush at a later date and time. But they're going to take Zeke out of this, and we're going to win this thing. And I'm going to have 2 cases to do this week.
So give me your score. Give me some ballpark of how bad it's going to get. You going to give Pittsburgh 40?
No. I'm going to say the defense is playing better. I'm going to say the Steelers score 32. You guys score. I'm going to give, you know what? I give you 13.
You give us 13?
I give you 13.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fairly close. So I can't even do the math on that. That's like
18 points.
18. Okay.
No, 19 points. Yeah.
Well, so that would be Sweat City for you. That'd be right on. No. Just
like I told you last night. I said, Skip,
that smells like backdoor cover to me.
How many times what did I tell you yesterday? I say the 49ers are going to score late, and the final score will be 24.5 because I gave you your 7.5 to whatever Green Bay had. I said they scored 28, but they got 34. So yeah, y'all losing by 19.
Okay. Here's the final score in my humble estimation. and I told you I have been dangerously delusional all week, but I firmly believe that my defense can hold Ben and company to 27, and that my offense, with the help of my defense, by forcing a couple of turnovers, can score a couple of short field touchdowns, 27 to 14.
So you cover by half a point.
Yep. 13.5 I got. So I cover by a half point. Here's why I believe in this. I do believe that at Philadelphia, something happened that you are not seizing upon right before your very eyes. My defense turned the corner. It went from going south to turning north.
Right.
And I believe that there's still a lot of talent out there. Enough talent that they can give an offense that is being overrated. Roethlisberger's offense is ranked 25th in points scored. So they were so lucky to win at Baltimore because the stats just screamed Ravens all day.
Well, they're 24th in points scored because they've been playing defenses that's really good. Baltimore has a good defense. The Broncos, they haven't won a whole bunch of games, but they got a nice defense. Okay. The Tennessee Titans, not so much.
You know what? I think I'm starting to have a nice defense.
No, I don't think you're starting to have a nice defense.
Okay.
You're going to have a nice Christmas because it's going to be over.
Okay. Jerry Jones got rid of every malcontent in that locker room. And I believed in the malcontents because I believed in every free agent that Jerry signed in the offseason to make my defense respectable.
Right.
But every one of them, all the way down the line, they balked at Mike Nolan's scheme.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Because they've all been places where they've all had success.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every one of them has made 1 or 2 or 3 Pro Bowls.
Right.
So they're like, well, what are you doing? And as they began to talk amongst themselves in the locker room, quotes started to leak out via Jane Slater,
right.
NFL.com, NFL Network, that they're having big issues with Mike Nolan. So there was mutiny going on.
Correct.
There was revolt going on in the locker room to the point that Jerry finally threw up his hands when it got all-time bad.
Right.
And he said, well, I'm either going to have to fire Mike Nolan, which he did not want to do, or I'm going to run them all off. And he did.
Yeah.
He cut bait with every free agent signee.
It's called trimming the fat.
Okay. Except Gerald McCoy, I think, would have worked. I told you he was going to become the leader of my defense, and obviously he tore his quad. Just tore it, but they also cut bait with him. So he's not around.
Right.
It's not like he's rehabbing. He's gone.
Right.
So all of a sudden they bring back Sean Lee, who used to be the leader of the defense and doesn't have that kind of ability or ability to stay healthy anymore, right? And yet he's back in the mix, and now you got the kids in the mix, and all of a sudden, DeMarcus Lawrence turned the corner and turned back. That was a Pro Bowl outing by him.
That's what I needed to see.
Thank you. Aldon Smith is still a force.
Yes.
He's hit the midseason wall, but I expect him to play big against Pittsburgh. And Randy Gregory, I don't know if you saw what I saw on my TV. Maybe I got to get a new one. He was flashing all night because he can fly off the edge, and that was the first time they gave him some snaps. There's a great piece on him in USA Today that I recommend. Because he has been through, he's been to hell and back.
Right.
And it sounds like, I'm going to knock on wood for him, he's starting to get his life under control, his demons under control. So he's a player, man. He had 6 sacks in 2018. He can disrupt and make a difference. And then that leads me to Trevon Diggs. He had one of the worst games in the history of pro football because he got just absolutely roasted and toasted twice. And then he said, I got amnesia, as you point out. I don't care. I don't care. My big brother's a star in this league. I'm going to be a star in this league. And he got give it to him Wentz twice. Picked him off and actually turned the game to a place where Ben DiNucci, could have won the game if they just kept handing the ball to Zeke, but they decided to go trick play and it blew up in their face. So my point is, would you believe that Trevon Diggs has been targeted the most of any defensive back in pro football?
Yeah, he's
55 targets.
He's a rookie.
Okay, he's given up an NFL worst to 513 yards on his solo cover, whatever.
Well, you know what, Skip? You better get him now because he's going to get better. He's
going to get better. I believe he's going to get better on Sunday against Pittsburgh. And I love their young receivers. I love Chase Claypool. I like all of them. Juju, we've had on the show. He's a great kid.
James Washington from Oklahoma State.
I got it. I got it. But I still say that they can rush the passer well enough, and with him starting to cover, and one of these games, Awuzie is going to come back, and it might be this game. All of a sudden, they're starting to figure it out on defense. And I told you the 2 safeties, Donovan Wilson and Xavier Woods, started to flash to me like they're starting to understand their roles and the scheme, and they were mostly in the right place at the right time on Sunday night. Okay, because of all that, I think they can hold Pittsburgh to 27 points. Now, back to the 2 quarterbacks that you mentioned. Who is the lesser of the 2 evils? Because it comes down to that, right? Because neither has played much game action in the NFL.
Correct.
Both have played a whole lot in the preseason because they were backup quarterbacks.
Yes.
Okay, Cooper Rush. I told you, I've watched him play in 11 preseason games, and you know me, I watch all of them. I've always liked his poise and body language. He's a bigger kid than DiNucci. He's got a better arm. He just has more command of the offense.
Okay.
He knows the offense. I believe it's going to be Cooper Rush.
Okay.
I believe I can trust Cooper Rush not to turn the ball over. I believe if they'll let him do shorter drop routes, like quick passes, that he can get it to CD on some quick pops to get CD loose for yards after catch.
Right.
And I believe that if they'll max protect him a couple of times, he can hit Gallup on deeper routes. I believe he's capable of doing enough damage to get them in the end zone twice, even against the most hellacious pass rush in pro football.
I think the thing that you do have working in your favor is because there's not a whole lot of game tape on either guy.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, preseason, so you got to go back to the preseason, and everybody's running vanilla stuff come in the preseason.
Yep.
So there's not a whole lot of game film on him, and that's the luxury you have with DiNucci against Philadelphia. But as the game started to go on, you realize, Philly started to realize, man, this guy can't play.
He just can't play.
So we don't need to be exotic and try to fool him. We just need to line up and just come get him. And that's what they started.
And by the way, I hate to be so harsh on this kid, DiNucci, but you want to talk about getting thrown into the wrong place at the wrong time against that front?
Right. Exactly.
At Philly in a Sunday night game?
And the one thing that they do, Skip, is that Jim Schwartz, the first time I came in contact with Jim Schwartz, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was in Tennessee. And so, Skip, when you line up in the wide 90, you just go get the quarterback. When teams will play that front, Skip, they pass rushers. That's what you want to do. You want to go get the quarterback. And
well, they got him. They got him twice.
You're putting a guy that's never started an NFL game, his first start in a team that attacks the quarterback.
From James Madison, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if he played at Alabama or he played at one of the Power 5 schools and played, okay, we get that.
Yep.
James Madison's not the same. It's football, but it's not the same level of football.
Yep.
And when you put him in that situation, he kind of got spooked. It kind of shook his confidence. And that's what you try to do to a young quarterback, Skip. Let's get to him early. If we get to him early, we like our chances late.
Okay. So, final.